Okay, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And in doing so, realize that you're able to give more of your focus and attention to the sound of my voice as you continue to breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, notice that by slowing down and elongating your outward breath, it feels like more of any stress and tension is leaving your body. And as you breathe in, imagine breathing a bright, white light that represents resourceful relaxation. As you breathe in through your nose, just imagine that resourceful relaxation going into your body in the same way that your heart is able to take oxygen from the air and distribute it to every cell in your body. I want you to imagine that as you breathe in that glowing white light of resourceful relaxation going into your lungs, your heart can take the resourcefulness, the relaxation from that white light and again distribute it to every cell in your body. When you breathe out that carbon dioxide, but I want you to imagine that the glowing white light that you breathed in when you exhale is a darker color, maybe grey or shadowy, representing any feelings of tension, stress or worry that is leaving your body in your outward breath. Breathing in resourceful relaxation, exhaling tension, stress, worries, anxiety, meaning that with each and every breath, you're able to go deeper and deeper, relaxed now. As your physical body relaxes, your mind becomes more alert, and I want you to create an image in your eye, your mind's eye, of someone that you consider to be a confident, resourceful speaker. Perhaps you can, within your imagination, travel through time and space, and I want you to imagine physically watching someone that you feel has the resources, the confident resources to communicate well. And perhaps you can create an image in your mind of someone well known in the world of Formula One, perhaps Toto Wolff. I want you to see this person confidently communicating. And if you feel that you're witnessing them communicating in the way that you would like to communicate, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And at this point, I want you to imagine you've got the ability to freeze time, and I want you to just pause everything that's happening in that moment. I want you to see the facial expressions of Toto Wolff, how he's breathing. Everything is frozen in time except how he is standing, breathing, facial expressions. And what I want you to do is imagine you're playing that game that a child plays where you're mimicking. I want you to breathe at the same rate that he's breathing. Adjust your facial expressions so they mimic someone that is confidently talking. Perhaps your body language, your posture. And at the point where you've mimicked the physical attributes, I want you to imagine that because this person represents excellence in this particular area, I want you to imagine there is a glowing circle under their feet. And then imagine that this two-dimensional circle turns into a three-dimensional cylinder. Perhaps you can remember old TV shows like Star Trek, where they would have a beam of light surrounding them so they can teleport to different places. Imagine there is a glowing cylinder of light surrounding Toto Wolff, and it represents the resources and the excellence that he has in this specific area. And then imagine stepping into his body so that you're feeling what it feels like to have these resources within you now. Again, adjust your breathing so you're breathing in the same way. Notice your inner dialogue, if there is any. Self-assured, confident. I want you to get a sense that you feel very relaxed. Confident in your own skin. With a sense of clarity and assurance, just knowing that you know what you know. Ready that if a question was asked that you weren't expecting, that you would have the competency, the knowledge, the depth of experience to be able to answer in the way that you would want to answer. You feel these resources and you're surrounded by this glowing cylinder that represents resourceful excellence and confidence. And just like in Star Trek, where this beam could teleport you to a different place, I want you to imagine that you're feeling this resourceful feeling. The inner dialogue is, I've got this, I can handle this. You're breathing low in the diaphragm. You're feeling relaxed, and then imagine that you're teleported to just a few minutes before you're doing a company-wide call. Still feel that resourceful feeling. Imagine you're still there in this kind of glowing beam that represents resourceful excellence. And then imagine joining that meeting. But notice the relaxation of the muscles in your face. You feel relaxed. You feel that you could handle so much more than this call, in which case this call would be the equivalent of a professional boxer just sparring, just testing out different things that works. This isn't a big deal, this is practice. This is where you test things out. Consider this a focus group, a practice session. Yes, you want to deliver things in the best way that you can deliver them, but actually, in the same way that professional stand-up comedians will practice things to small audiences before they get on the big stages, I want you to imagine that this for you now, you feel the resources of being able to speak on huge stages, but right now this is just practice. And if it feels like practice can be fun and you can enjoy this moment, let me know by nodding your head. And as the call starts, tap into that feeling of resourcefulness. Notice that your facial expression is relaxed. Your breathing is calm. And there is an absence of inner dialogue. If anything was to come up in your mind, it would be a sense of, I can handle this. So many areas of your life feel like they are well within your comfort zone. And I want you to get that feeling that just communicating, having a conversation, getting across your key points feels well within your comfort zone. You've already prepared a sense of what you want to say and the intention behind what you're saying. And as you feel that you're communicating these points, get a sense that this whole thing is just practice. Sometimes you'll be great. Sometimes you won't. And either you win or you learn. Either you're great on the call, or there will be valuable information, insight, things that you can reflect on that mean future calls will be even better. Feel that glowing energy of light all around you, feel that resourcefulness, and feel that the call ends, and when the call finishes, get a sense of personal pride and satisfaction, or perhaps just a sense that there's even more progress being made. And then it's time to leave this place. And I want you to think in your mind of perhaps a really important professional presentation that you need to make in the future. I want you to imagine that place, see it in the future as if you're someone else doing that well, but see yourself in that glowing sphere, that cylinder, all the energy, the power. Look at yourself with a facial expression, breathing, just like that person that you're inspired by how they communicate. It's not that you are Toto Wolff, it's that you have the resources of this person in you as you see yourself doing really well in that professional presentation. And at the point where it finishes and you feel that you've done it in the way that you wanted to, rewind it to before the presentation has even started. And then imagine stepping into that version of you. Step into that version of you before it's even begun, knowing that it's about to go well. Feel that resourceful feeling. Hear the inner dialogue saying, I've got this. This is fine. The tonality is that of certainty, of confidence. And then imagine that you're doing it the way that you want to do it, in the first person, seeing whoever you're seeing through your own eyes, feeling that the words are flowing. You're communicating what you've prepared, but if needed, you can go and answer a random question or listen to your intuition and just elaborate in a key way that adds value to what you've already prepared. Feel that resourceful feeling, but more importantly, feel that you know that this feels comfortable for you. You feel that this is well within your competency and confidence. And then at the end, just imagine that it's finished and you've got a sense of satisfaction as to what's happened, but also a feeling that whether how you communicate is great or indifferent, there will always be something that you can learn. Because if it's just average, you know that with the benefit of hindsight, you could have made it exceptional. And if it was disappointing, there's even more to learn. Everything that you do in this area now provides an opportunity of a feedback loop. There is no failure. The only failure is if you decide never to communicate with another human again. Outside of that, everything is a feedback loop where you will get more and more confident. Notice at the end of this professional presentation that you get a sense that you delivered that in the way that you wanted to deliver that. And then imagine a different future. Perhaps a time in the next few weeks or months where you'll be talking at a conference, not a virtual conference, but a real conference with hundreds, if not thousands, of delegates in the room. To begin with, see yourself just about to walk up on stage, but see that confident version of you. See you surrounded by a glowing cylinder of light and energy, signifying that that version of you has the resources, the confidence and the competency to deliver this talk at this conference in the way that you would want. Imagine you're in the audience, seeing that version of you perhaps on a stage, delivering an impactful presentation or talk. Notice that when you communicate, you seem relaxed, confident. Get a sense that you're seeing yourself how everyone else is seeing you with the qualities of that person that inspires you. And then when it gets to the end, rewind it to the beginning, step into that version of you, and then get a sense that you are now just about to do a conference. Here, perhaps whoever is introducing you to introduce you in the way that you want to be introduced, then feel yourself in your own body as you make your way up onto that stage. And you can't help but notice how strange it is to feel so relaxed, feeling like this is well within your capabilities. Looking at the audience and making eye contact with different people, those people that seem to be giving you their attention, nodding their heads, smiling. You make eye contact with the people that are giving you that positive reinforcement. Perhaps you're looking at your notes, or perhaps you have it all memorized in your mind, and feel that as the words flow from your mouth, this feels effortless for you. It feels as natural as just having a conversation. And as you have that conversation, notice that you're accessing almost a trance-like state. That as you communicate your words, images are being created in the minds of the people you're talking to, like you're painting a picture, perhaps as to an anecdote, a story, or perhaps even a future, an idea that you have. You feel very comfortable on that stage. Notice that as you're communicating, there's a feeling of relaxation in your facial muscles. You're breathing deep down, lower than your chest there in your diaphragm. You feel relaxed, confident, and calm. And then from that stage, imagine it's gone really well. And after the talk is finished, I want you to imagine a different future. A future where you're being interviewed on TV, perhaps a breakfast TV show. I want you to imagine you're seeing yourself the way that a TV audience would see you through the screen. See yourself looking confident as you sit perhaps on a red sofa, smiling, relaxed. I want you to get a sense that this version of you is a resourceful version of you. See yourself again with that cylinder of energy and light, that glowing circle beneath your feet, giving you a clue that this is a resourceful, confident, capable version of you. That version of you is the version of you that does these talks to your team, does these professional presentations, does these conferences, and does these TV appearances. I want you to get a sense that your identity is shifting from someone that would avoid these situations to someone that enjoys these situations. And perhaps all it takes for that to happen is for you to feel that this is where you get to amplify your impact. You can only have so much impact in the world if you communicate from one person to one person. The moment you can communicate from one to many, you amplify your time, you amplify your message. And whether it's talking to many people in your team at the same time, several people in influence at the same time, your peers, your industry at the same time, or perhaps an audience of millions at the same time. What it really is about articulating a message that impacts many people at exactly the same time. See that TV interview going exactly as you would want it to go, and then rewind it to before the interview has even started. Then imagine stepping into that version of you, feeling as resourceful, if not more so, than the people you admire that do this particular thing so well, so effortlessly. Get a sense that this is what's happening now. Feel that resourceful feeling, perhaps in your chest, there in your heart. Notice your inner dialogue is just very relaxed, calm, confident, certain that this is fine. You know what you're talking about. Perhaps you can even imagine the faces of the presenters asking you the questions and notice that everything is just effortless for you. Even if they don't ask what you think you want them to ask, just know that your unconscious mind has access to years of experience. The words flow from your mouth exactly as they should do. And it's only when it finishes you realize just how easy the whole thing was, because you were calm, relaxed, and able to trust your unconscious mind to recall any words and provide the answers requested in exactly the way that has the most impact. I want you to get a sense that this is now the default state that your unconscious mind will drive you to whenever there is a need to communicate to many people. It doesn't matter if it's an award, at a conference, a TV appearance, or just talking to many people in your own company. I want you to get a sense that this is now well within your capabilities, and you've unlocked the very resources to want to do these things in the future. The days where you will have that inner dialogue that say, God, I've got this coming up tomorrow, will be in the past. The future won't be that I have to do this. It will be that I get to do this. But communicating to many people is a privilege that few people have. Most people aren't making the level of impact in the world to have many people want to listen to them. And therefore, this isn't something you have to do. It's something you get to do. Feel how good it feels to be able to communicate, influence, impact many people, perhaps even thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of people at exactly the same time. And then when you have that feeling, link that to the opportunity of talking. And then realize all of this is just thoughts within thoughts as you go back from sitting on that TV sofa to being there at a conference, to then going back to perhaps just leaving an influential professional presentation, and then think back to a time where you successfully really impacted the team in a positive way, perhaps on a Zoom or Teams call, and then realize that everything that you're comfortable doing now at one point in your life was outside of your comfort zone. And the trick is to get comfortable being uncomfortable just long enough until it becomes comfortable. And when it becomes comfortable, it can then become desirable. And when it becomes desirable, you will actively seek out these opportunities, and that is the point that the fear can disappear. When you run towards your fears, they're no longer fears. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. As I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken feeling resourceful, confident, feeling that you've unlocked the very resources that exist in the people that inspire you are now unlocked within you. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.